This is the road to a million call, and this call has shifted frameworks in the last couple of weeks. This call started with Katie and I, and really actually just me, documenting the journey of us starting our second cleaning location in Mesa, Arizona. And I say just me because Katie was actually doing the do. Katie was in the field. Katie was actually part of level number one, or what we're talking about today, the 6 levels of a cleaning business. Okay. And yeah, that's how this call started 84 weeks ago. 84 weeks ago, it was me on this call sharing with you guys what I was doing in the office, sales and hiring and invoicing and money collecting, and what Katie was doing in the field, cleaning, training, creating systems, processes, creating reputation that people would actually trust us being in their homes. And so now 84 weeks later, the framework of this call has changed because our business has changed. And ultimately, like, because we have changed, our business has changed, and it is in that order. How many of you guys would like a business that does $100,000 plus a month? Raise your hand. Put it in the air like you care. Okay? Do you care? Do you care? Okay. In order for your business to change, Katie, who must change first?
The owner.
Me. Okay, here we go, guys. So this is about you guys changing. Okay. And so really the goal is for you guys to be able to see from a very tactical standpoint of exactly what you must change your behaviors so that way your business can then create the outcome of a business that does $100,000 a month. Okay. And so it's cool because I would say probably about half the people in here, you guys are inside the community. You guys are inside the paid community, which means you guys are using the system, right? And the system I'm referencing is how do we get clients? How do we get cleaners? And how do we do that in a predictable way that doesn't involve you as the owner having to do the do forever? And there's certain seasons, and in this case, there's certain levels that we're going to walk through today, so you guys can see exactly like what you need to be doing at each level and what you do at level number 6. Because even though you are not necessarily operating the business, you're not the one who's doing all these sales calls, you're not the one who's doing all the interviews. Katie made it really, she was really emphatic about this in when we started creating the framework for this call today. Like, you are still part of the business. You, the owner. If you own a business, you will always be part of the business.
But I want passive income and I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a farce, and a farce, to be really clear with it, it's not reality. Have you guys ever heard a story of somebody selling their business? Has anyone ever heard a story of someone selling their business? Some people sell it for a lot of money. Some people basically give the thing away. Do you know why people sell the business? Whether it's doing really well or whether it's not serving the person's goals. Do you know why people sell the business?
Because they get divorced.
It's because they realize that the business will always involve them. And so if they no longer want to be part of the business, then they can either shut it down or they can attempt to sell it. And in my first business was a gym. And so I told you guys that in 2013, I started a gym. And but what I haven't told you is that from 2013 to 2017, I was trying to do everything myself, and I was afraid to ask for help, and I didn't know anything about business, and I made less than $5,000 a month for 3 years. I eventually got really humbled and realized I knew nothing about business, and I asked for help, and I asked for help by giving somebody all my money that I had, which at the time was $10,000, which was, it laid peacefully next to my head under under my pillow every single night. I was so afraid of losing this money that I wouldn't even put it in the bank account. And I invested this $10,000 in a system for my gym that allowed me to be able to predictably get clients and leads in my business. And once I got that system, my business went from doing $5,000 a month to $50,000 a month. And yeah, things were cool. And then from 2017 to 2021, we made different iterations of the business. But by 2021, I was like, I don't want to be part of this business anymore. And I attempted to sell the business to my general manager at the time. His name was John. And what did John say, Katie?
Nah.
He said no. And I was like, okay, fine. But I'll just give you the business then. And that's what we did. So that's how we actually got out of our first business is I literally just gave it away. I just gave it to John. I said, as long as you can fulfill all the clients, which was my number one goal, just fulfill all the people, then like you can just have it. And he changed the name of it and he took all the clients. And that's how we got out of our very first business. And it was in that moment that I realized that the attention that comes with owning a business is always significant. It's always significant. It doesn't matter if you are in level 1 or you're in level 6, there is an attention that goes with owning a business. And so I think it's important for everyone here to be on the same page that there is no such thing as passive income. Actually, the only passive income is like income that like when you're dead and income and money flows coming in, like that's passive because you dead. It's passive to you, right? But it's going to be active to somebody else. And I think that's really the difference is that like all income has active and passive passive what's it called, Katie? Like
To what
every
degree?
yeah. So you can make a source of income less active for you by finding someone who's going to be more active in that business. And so that's what we do in the cleaning business. If you want to be less active in your business, then you hire a general manager, you hire office staff, and all of a sudden, then you have people who are actively getting clients and cleaners in business, which makes you more passive, but there's still a form of activity that you need to do. And the irony is that the attention that you put in your business, while there's not as much time that goes into it, your decisions get bigger. And your skill sets need to continue to increase to ensure that the business grows without you being active in the business. Because what most people dream about is a business that runs without them. But what we should be dreaming of is a business that grows without you. Those are two entirely different things. And so today we're going to be talking about these 6 levels. And so you guys can figure out exactly where you're at and figure out what you need to do to graduate to the next level. You guys excited for that? You guys excited to learn how to grow from level 1, level 2, level 3 to get to level 4, level 5, level 6? You guys excited for this?
Well,
Cool.
now that I know that I have to be involved in level 1 through 6, I'm not as excited.
Yeah. Just understand that you're part of the equation. You're part of the equation. And so for a lot of you guys, again, like half you guys are inside the paid community and half you guys are inside the free group. And so there's different perspectives that you guys both have, but it's just important to understand that like there is a path. It doesn't matter where you're at, but there is a path for you to go through level 1 to level 6. If you're inside the paid community, you just have a path that's already outlined for you. Like it's very clear the path. If you're not inside the paid community, then use this call as a way for you just to get clarity on understanding that there is a path forward. Like it doesn't happen on accident. You will not accidentally end up with a $100,000 a month business. Okay. Like there are specific sacrifices, there's specific skills, there's specific things that you'll need to do in order to get your business to $100,000 a month. I assure you, it does not happen on accident. And so that's your goal today, is to figure out exactly what it takes. Okay. Also, if you're not inside the paid community, so this is something that we just started offering a couple weeks ago, and this came from a problem that we had that. There was no clear path to allow people who were not inside the community to get into the community. So Kate and I came up with a solution. We don't know if it's a good solution. We're still testing it. But we've been offering a 28-day home cleaning challenge to allow people to get into the community, to be able to basically test drive the system, be able to get access to all the information that's required in order for them to actually build $1 million business, see if they can actually implement the system. And then at that point, then they can choose whether they want to commit to actually growing $1 million business, or if they're like, this is too much work. Now that I know what it takes, I think I'll just go back to doing what I was doing before. And so, right now we have 6 people inside this challenge right now, and we're going to cap it at 10 as a way for me to be able to ensure that I can give the support and the resources to the people who are in it to make sure that they can be successful. So then we can start to offer this to more people. But for the first 10 people, trying to keep it small and make sure that we increase the probability of people being successful, being able to implement the system, get the system set up, and then really be able to use the system to grow the freaking business, right? To go from level 1 to level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. And so, yeah, so if you guys are not inside the coaching program, then James will drop the link and you can apply for the 28-day home cleaning challenge. Again, we only have 4 spots that until we get to the cap at 10. And then, yeah, after this first set of 10, then we'll reevaluate whether we can do this challenge again or if we increase the amount of people that we let into the challenge. So again, this is for people who are not inside the community. So if you guys are inside the community, this is not for you guys. But if you guys start to see people who are coming in, like welcome them, like Randy is one of the people who's on here. He's inside he's a challenger. So if you start to see some of these people inside the community, yeah, love on them, help them as well. And one of the reasons that Katie and I realized that we needed to offer something like this to the community is we just had one of the members of our community, Julia. I don't know if Julia's on here, but
She is.
yeah, she was able to join the community way back in the day when we were still letting people in for free, and she was able to get her hands on the system at zero. Like before she even had her business, she was able to implement the system. So she started out with a hiring funnel. She started out with the Facebook funnel and the homepage funnel and all the automation, the pipelines, and she's just started out with good systems. And yeah, she started this business in August of 2024. And as of last month, September 2024, she did $88,000 last month. And she's starting the month out this month with $90,000 in the books. Like she'll probably hit $100,000 this month. So it's not like just one good month, guys. Like that's the cool part about the system is that like it's all built on a system. It's all built on reoccurring. So it's like now some people have like crazy months, but most of the months are just like this is like part of the system. Like there's not like these big jumps. There's not like there's no paid in fulls. There's no crazy deals that like increase revenues. Like it's just business. Like we just run a system. And so after Katie and I saw that, we're like, we need to give more people the opportunity who are just getting started to be able to have access to the system, because when you have access to the system from the beginning, it just allows you to like move faster. You have less problems, you have less bad habits, you have less things you need to change. And all those things require attention to be able to adjust. And if people who are brand spanking new, if they can just have their hands on the system, then I think they can get to their goals faster. Anyway, so whether you're just getting started or whether you're in level 1, level 2, which we'll talk about here shortly, highly recommend looking at the challenge. And even if it gets filled up by this time, maybe the next time that we offer it, you'll be on the waiting list, and it might be a good fit for you at that time. So I think James dropped the link, so definitely go check it out. But without further ado, Katie, let's get into the 6 levels of a cleaning business. And for you guys to really pay attention, find out number 1 where you're at, and then really just discover what you got to do to get to the next level. Like, don't worry about how to get to number 6. Just how do you go? Like, if you're in level 1, how do you get from level 1 to level 2? And if you're level 2, how do you get to level 3? Okay, that's how I want you guys to think about this. So you guys get the most value from this. So, without further ado, Katie, level 1. What is level 1?
0 to 10,000
0 to 10,000 what?
in revenue. 0 to $10,000 in produced revenue. Level 1.
Cool. So who you guys are from 0 to 10,000? You guys are the freaking business. Okay, you're the
Everyone.
business. This is the job. Like you have a job. Okay, you have a job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes. And your boss is kind of a D word, kind of a B word if you're a girl, right? You're the cleaner, you're the trainer, you're HR, you're the bookkeeper.
You're the marketer, you're the salesperson.
You're everything. You're everything. Okay. And you get paid nothing to do all those things. That's the funny part, right? Welcome to business, my friends. Welcome to business. And so this is really the investment stage, and it's the investment in learning skills. And really what you will learn, especially like in a service business like the home cleaning business, is that yeah, you can learn these skills through putting the sweat equity as being the cleaner that produces revenue. That's the only thing in this realm that actually produces revenue is being a cleaner. And you're going to learn how to market. You're going to learn how to train. You're going to learn how to sell. You're going to learn how to do bookkeeping. You're going to learn how to do licenses and insurance and all these things that you had no idea that you need to learn how to do. You're going to learn how to use systems like, or technology like Go High Level and ZenMaid or Book and Koala or Made Central, whatever these CRMs are, like you don't have skills yet. And you just need to learn how the skill sets of technology work along with these other skill sets as well. Okay. And so, Katie, what are you focused on when you're in level one? Like, what are you actually
Acquiring
doing?
so many skills. You're cleaning homes, you're interviewing and onboarding future cleaners, you're doing sales, you're scheduling new cleans, you're managing the schedule, sending invoices and trying to get people to pay their invoices and tracking data.
Yeah. Yeah. And so at this level, guys, it's going to be you, part of the team. You might have a VA and you might have 1 to 2 cleaners at most, right? That's what the team is going to look like when you're from 0 to 10K. Okay. Katie, how do we graduate? How do we graduate to the next level?
You got to hire cleaners to duplicate yourself in the field so you can get out of the field.
Yeah. So you learn the skill set of cleaning and then you teach somebody else how to do the cleaning, which is the revenue producing. Okay. Now, before we get into level 2, outside of the doing, Katie, why is this difficult? From a financial standpoint, why is it difficult?
Because there's not a lot of excess cash to pay you to keep learning more skills.
Yeah. And that's really, guys, like this is why this is investing. And if you got to understand that these levels are just levels of investing. And instead of you paying $20,000 to go to college and get a degree, like you're just going to actually make $0 to learn the skill sets that have the potential to pay you millions of dollars without you actually being the sole doer. And if you can understand that, then like, are you guys willing to make that trade? Are you guys willing to put in sweat equity to learn skill sets that can pay you forever by you not getting paid a single dime today? And in fact, maybe it's you investing. Maybe it's you investing money today. Investing money in coaching could be one. Investing money in things that'll make your business simpler, like systems, like QuickBooks, like ZenMaid, like Go High Level. Like these are all investments that you make into making your business a system rather than just staying cheap and being like doing it yourself and using Google Calendar and using your personal cell phone. And we've all been there. Like, how many of you guys have used your personal cell phone before? Yes, so have I. So have I, right? Just not for a long time because I've learned. And that's all your guys' goal is to continue to learn. Because in the beginning, like I thought that made sense. And so if you like right now, you're like, that makes sense. It's like cool. Like this is the call for you is to understand how to think like $100,000 a month business owner in level 6 rather than thinking like a $10,000 a month business owner in level 1. Okay. Because by the way, we've all been there. Again, like the reason why I feel qualified to be right here is because I've made less money than every single one of you for a much longer period of time. 3 freaking years, less than 5,000. Okay. That's my qualification. I sucked worse at business than you did. And if you can use that as an asset and understand that you sucking right now is a good thing, as long as you're aware of it and you're humble enough to be like, I'm not very good. That allows you to ask the next question. What do you do to get better? And if you really want to know what it takes to get better, and you're willing to change your behavior once you get the feedback, then you have the opportunity to be on this stage as well, because that's all it takes. The willingness to continue to learn, the willingness to continue to be humbled every single day. So let's move to level number 2. Katie, what's level number 2?
$10,000 to $20,000 per month in revenue.
Perfect. So who are you at this stage?
You are probably still cleaning, potentially training new hires, and you're also managing cleaners, and you're also doing all of the office things.
Seems like we're doing more, but we're getting paid more, right? Now we're 10 to 20, that's more revenue. So we're probably getting paid more, right?
Oh,
There we go. Investing. I think expectations are the things that make us feel good or bad. And us feeling good or bad is going to determine whether our behaviors are in alignment with us getting to level 6, or with they're in alignment with us staying in level 1, level 2. And so if you expect business to be easy, if you expect that there's a certain level that you're willing to give before you should get something back, that people should think about your perspective and not just their own. I think those are some of the biggest mindset beliefs that stop me from growing, is that I would put expectations on others instead of just having expectations of myself. And really the expectation that has served me the best today is I'll just do whatever's required in order for me to get to the next level.
You will do what is required, not
will
have
do
somebody
what-
else, not hold anybody else accountable to doing what is required. I see this
Exactly.
so frequently in all of our coaches and all of our clients, is that they want to shortcut the process. They want to teach somebody to do the skill rather than them being humble enough to say, I don't know the skill, I must first master it.
Yeah.
And if we can take accountability and just master the skill before we hand it off, not only is the handoff going to be smoother, but we're also able to help the person that we're handing it off so much more, because we actually comprehend and understand the skill to be able to hand it off.
This stage, level 2, is, I believe most people get stuck here, is because level 1, there's a little bit of naiveness to starting a business. Level 2, you start to get exposed a little bit more to the reality of running a business. And when you get exposed to the reality that, like, you are the one that has to grow the thing, you're the one that has to level up, your capacity has to grow, your commitment has to grow. And when I say commitment, let's define commitment. Commitment is just you prioritizing the business over other things. So some of the things that people have in their lives that they're not willing to prioritize the business over: family, dogs, money, their hobbies. Oh, and here's the biggest one: doing things they don't like doing. Their feelings. They prioritize their feelings over the business. And so this is why people generally get stuck in level 2, is because those are some of the bigger priorities that are the bigger things that people stop them from committing. Because really, it's just a commitment game. If you guys are willing to commit to the business, if you're willing to prioritize your business over your family, over your spouse, over your dogs, cats, animals, snakes, whatever freaking weird animals you guys have, over your hobbies, and most importantly, over your feelings, like, you can get past level 2.
That feelings one is huge. This level 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, it's the feelings. None of this growth feels good in the moment. You guys can ask Julia firsthand how good the last 13 months has felt. But your business will not grow if you do not grow first. Your business's revenue is a lagging indicator to your personal growth. So you must go through feeling silly, feeling dumb, looking like you don't know what you're doing, accepting it, improving it, then the business revenue increases. It's a lagging indicator. So you'll feel like you're doing all of this correctly and you're still not growing, it's coming.
Yeah. One thing I also want to highlight is like we're using Julie on here, but there's 100-some people inside the community who also get some really cool results, right? Nothing as wild as going from 0 to almost $90,000 in 13 months. But James, will you drop the link to the client wins? And so if you guys go and click on this link right here, this will share with you some of the client wins that are from people inside the community who are using the system. And you'll see some like pretty cool numbers. You'll see people who have gained $20,000, $30,000 a month over the last year. You'll see people who've done it in 6 months. You'll see people who have like double, triple, quadrupled their businesses. And just understand that, like, you see the result and it's a good result. But I want you guys to really equate that good result with the feeling of, and when I say bad, because again, bad is just an opinion, by the way. Like, we label things good or bad. Like, there is no such thing as good or bad. It's just your opinion that makes it so. But the feelings are just different. That's really what they are. And we label them as bad because we're used to a certain thing. We have an expectation that we've been living our life for the last 10, 20, 30 years a certain way. And when things feel different, we label them bad. Bad is different. But if you can actually understand that that feeling that you're getting, that different feeling that you're labeling bad, is actually the thing that's required in order for you to get to the next level, then you can change the game. And it's actually pretty scary when you actually understand that, because now you have to have a different level of awareness of like, so then you start seeking bad things. You start seeking the bad behaviors, and you got to be really careful, because you actually don't like, life isn't like, you don't need to make life harder than it has to be. That's the reality. I think this is something where I've went through this, like I've intentionally made my life harder because I thought that's what I needed to do to get better. And I realized that I just had to be able to differentiate between like what actually is a different behavior that gets me closer to my goal versus something that actually just like I'm just making my life harder for no reason at all. And most of you guys won't have that problem right now, but some of you guys might. Like Jessica and Lucas, like you guys are doing almost $100,000 a month. You guys have to for you guys you guys will have to be able to differentiate like different behaviors that make you better versus like just looking for things that make you feel bad, right? Or just that are different for the sake of being different. But for the most part, when you guys are in that level 1, level 2, like generally, again, I'm speaking generally speaking, if it doesn't feel good, it means you should probably do more of it, right? Generally speaking. So.
And truthfully, the only skill that you are mastering at delegating right now is cleaning.
Yep. So yeah, so go through their focus. What do we focus on when we're in level 2?
Cleaning and training new cleaners when needed. So ideally, you have now successfully trained new cleaners, and you have taught a cleaner how to train new cleaners. So you're just staying in constant communication with them, helping them improve, make sure that the culture is there, that people are performing the standards. You're also continuing to hire. This is where you get definitely thrown into the reality of the cleaning business. People don't stick forever. They never do. The only person that's going to be in this business, as long as you want to be, is you. So always be recruiting. Never turn that recruiting funnel off. Constantly coaching your team on how they can do better. You're going to feel like a broken record. You're going to be repeating yourself constantly, and you're going to be like, why don't they get it? I'm so frustrated. Well, it's because they haven't cleaned for longer than a few months. Like they need the reps to be able to get good at what they do. Ensuring that your clients are satisfied. When you train new people, when you have new people, new hires training your new cleaners, client complaints are going to happen. So having an expectation that whatever you have to do to keep your client satisfied is ensuring that your reputation sustains over any dollar amount. There is not a lot of money at this stage to be able to, pay out these big cleans that you might have to comp the whole thing at, but ensuring that you can always go serve another client, collect more money, but you can never get your reputation back. So you always have to do what's right for the client. Filling cleaner schedule management, cleaner callouts, client cancellations, and still tracking data. Being reliable to the numbers of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 to 20 is tough. And for you guys who have been there, like you guys know. You guys know. And if you guys are in here, like, yeah, I mean, maybe you don't know. Maybe you're oblivious right now. But 10 to 20 is level 2. It's tough.
10 to 20 is learning how to lead a team. You've never led anybody except for yourself to this stage. And now you have to actually teach other people how to do what you expect them to do. And you have really high expectations because you have developed the skill of good cleaning, but not everybody comes onto the team with the skill of good cleaning. So it really tests your leadership abilities. And this is just the start of these leadership abilities. Like you suck at leading and you have high expectations. It's like a recipe for a very frustrated season.
And this is why most people get stuck here, because this is where you have the biggest change in like skill sets that are required for you to get to level 3. And there's still no money. So it means that you're not getting reinforced with money to know that you're doing a good job. When I say money, I mean like the revenues might go up, but like the profit, there's no profit. There's no money left over. And I think that's why it's important for you to understand that you're investing. Because while this business, you can start it without taking a loan out. You can start it without having to go ask mommy and daddy for money or the bank for money. You don't have to invest $100,000 as startup costs. Like you can literally buy a freaking vacuum and some cleaning supplies, and you can go clean people's homes for free and they'll pay you money. Like that's how easy it is to start the business. And the problem with that, here's what I've discovered now for being in this business for 5 years, is that generally the people who get into the business, like they don't necessarily have a lot of capital. That's why they started cleaning business, right? And they're not used to investing. Generally speaking, I'm speaking in generalities. And so if you can start the business without investing anything, then it sets the wrong precedent that in order for them to go from 0 to 20, you don't have to invest anything, let's say. But in order to get to 20 to 40, if you had to invest money, in coaching or systems, or you just had to invest your time by working for free, that's where most people aren't willing to make that commitment. They're not willing to prioritize the business over their time or over their current money that they have in the bank. And then along with this, there's so many skills that are so different from cleaning that you're gonna have to learn that this is why this is challenging. Client satisfaction. Kate touched on it. You're gonna have client complaints. When you have somebody who you just taught how to clean, who's had no cleaning experience or very low cleaning experience or less, not a lot of cleaning experience, they're gonna do a worse job than you. And you're gonna get some client complaints, which means you're gonna have to probably do some correction cleans, do some discounts, or you're gonna have to comp some cleans entirely. And it's tough because you have no money, you have no perspective, you have little experience, and you're like, I am the worst business owner ever. But that's the reality of every business owner. I've had comp more cleans than every single person in here. I've lost more money than most people in here. And the reason I tell you guys is because I just want to let you know that it's a requirement for you to level up. You must make mistakes. You must lose money. You must lose ego. If you still think you're good, you're not good. Okay? If you still think that your shit don't stink, then you haven't got punched in the face enough times. You haven't been humbled enough times.
This is truly where owners get discouraged because they're like, why don't people care? They just don't care as much as I do. Yes, they don't. They're never going to care as much as you. And it's okay. You should never have an expectation that your employees or contractors or whoever you have come fulfill the work will ever care as much as you.
Yeah. I think the thing that's helped me the most is understanding that people will always do what's in their best interest, not your best interest. And if you actually have that belief and you just treat people as so, then you also need to do what's in your best interest and not other people's best interest, because that's where people are like, well, I did what was in her best interest and it was not my best interest. And now I feel like I got taken advantage of. And that's going to happen. And so understanding that people will do what's in their best interest, and you need to do what's in your best interest, but you need to also have perspective that what's in your best interest long-term, not short-term. And this goes to a piggyback a little bit we talked about last week on last week's call. So if you guys were on last week's call, you guys can go into either the free school community if you're not inside the paid group, or if you guys are inside the paid group and you guys go to the Road to a Million replays, and you guys can talk and we talk about the difference between people who are successful versus not successful is that most people solve for temporary outcomes versus permanent outcomes. Okay. And so what's in your best interest in the short term might not be in your best interest in the long term. And in fact, it's exactly what we talked about before. You using your time for free, you taking the money in your bank account and making it go down is not in your best interest short term. But if you get the skill set and you get the experience, you get the confidence, long term, your bank account will go up, has a higher probability of going up. And so those are the trades that entrepreneurs make. I should say those are the trades that the people who eventually become successful make. And now it just becomes how many times you want to make that trade, even when you don't get the outcome you're looking for. Once, didn't work for me, not doing it again. Twice, did it twice, didn't work. 3 times, nope. How many times are you willing to make the trade where it doesn't work out for you before you actually give up? And that's why most people get stuck at level 2. It's because they just don't know, they don't have experience, and they don't reach out for help. Egos, very big egos at this point, and think they know everything, think everybody's a scam, think that there's no way people can actually make that much money. They must be cheating, lying, whatever. Right? It's just a story you tell yourself to protect yourself and your ego. How do we graduate from this level, Katie? How do we graduate from level 2?
I like that analogy. I think people who get stuck at this level, they are victims of their circumstance. They outward blame everybody else and everything else. So they don't give themselves the opportunity to become victorious over this stage. So how do you become victorious over this stage is you actually start building systems so cleaners can consistently, predictably deliver a 5-star experience in the client's homes. And you also hire a VA and have your VA help you with day-to-day tasks. So now we're delegating 2 different tasks, cleaning and some of the low skill but high important tasks to a virtual assistant who loves repetitive work. So your team at this size looks like you, a full-time VA, and about 3 to 5 cleaners.
Okay. Level 3, Katie. What's level 3?
Level 3, I like to call the Valley of Despair. Aren't
Right,
you
because
guys so excited
we're
to grow?
going up. We're going up. We're going up. Level 3 is gooder, right? Level 3 is gooder than level 2.
No, not yet. Not yet. There's no upward swing yet. The Valley of Despair.
What's the revenue mark? Level 3.
Revenue mark for level 3 is $20,000 to $40,000 in revenue per month.
Cool.
So this is where you're actually building a system that can reliably get you new leads, convert those leads into paying clients, and you're hiring intentionally, creating a culture of empowered cleaners rather than entitled cleaners.
I think that hiring intentionally is important. And so I think this is where I feel like I won't say like if someone can get that 20 to 40K and they can have the system, they can have the $1 million system intact. This is where you start just like, if you guys go watch some of those, or if you guys go click that link and you guys go to some of those client wins, you'll see a lot of the wins are inside this range right here. Is because when you know actually how to hire intentionally and then bring on new clients intentionally as well, you can get some pretty significant growth. Okay, it's right here in this range. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you start accepting that nobody will care about your business as much as you, and the cleaners will never be as good as you were in the field, like you can create a system to where they can be good enough to deliver a 5-star experience.
Yeah. And really, you just got to ask yourself the question, like, what do you actually want? Like, what is the outcome? So like, this is how I solve almost every single problem, is that it's got to come from like, what do you actually want? And so I knew this at the beginning, so this was on me. Like, if you guys don't want to actually have a $1 million business, you don't want to be able to run a business that doesn't involve you having to do every single thing on a day-to-day basis, that you can actually go take a nap and then you come back 6 months later and the business has actually grown. Like, if you don't want that, then like, don't listen to us. If you want a nice business that you have control over, that it's perfect, and that you're in control of everything, then like that's a totally different problem to solve. And that is not the problem that I can help you solve, because that's not the game that we're playing. Like we're not playing a small game that we have control over every aspect of the business. And in fact, if you guys understand that freedom and control are on the same spectrum, this is freedom, this is control. If you want more control goes up, then what goes down?
Freedom.
If you want more freedom, what happens to control?
Goes down.
And so what problem are you solving for? If you guys want to solve for control, cool. You just understand you have less freedom. But if you want to solve for freedom, what do you have to give up?
Oh.
So just understand what problem you guys are solving. Again, we're solving for freedom. If you don't want freedom, it's cool. But that's what this whole system is based around, is freedom. Okay. So what are we focused on when we're in the 20 to 40K range, Katie? Like, what are our day-to-day? Like, what are we actually doing?
Yeah, so we have a hiring and onboarding system. So we're constantly implementing it, improving it, making sure that every single team member that gets brought onto the team has a better experience. We sucked the first time. We still were really bad the second time, third time, fourth time. Finally, we get good, and eventually we get great because we're constantly hiring. We continue to pour into those cleaners that are embodying the values and performing the standards at every single clean, constantly praising them, giving attention to the team members who do a really good job. What you give more attention to will grow. But we also have to confront cleaners who do not embody the values or perform the standards. So those go hand in hand, making sure that the culture stays where it needs to stay to deliver a 5-star experience. At every team meeting, we are talking about the standards, the values, the wins from the team, and always providing feedback to make sure that you're essentially coaching the cleaners how to continue to do a good job in the field. You've already been in their shoes. You understand how hard it is. Schedules are always changing. We go into houses, quoted sight unseen. It can be very frustrating. Communication needs to be dialed in, improved, constant feedback cycles are improving. All while you're also focusing on filling cleaner schedules with sales, new clients, recurring, building the actual client side as well. Basically creating a consistent client experience that is predictable, whether you send your newest cleaner in who just onboarded onto the team or your OG client or cleaner, excuse me, who's been with you for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, making sure that we can deliver that consistent experience, all while tracking data and being accountable to the data of your business.
And what does the team look like at this level 3, 20 to 40K? What does the team look like?
So your team has doubled at this stage. So not in the office, it's you and your full-time VA, but you have 5 to 8 cleaners helping you fulfill all of the cleans. Yeah. So you're managing twice as many people at this point.
And then how do we graduate? How do we graduate to the next level? How do we get to level 4?
Yeah, your process becomes repeatable. So we keep the process simple, and we grow our capacity to be able to continue to channel in new clients and new cleaners every single week.
And the reason why earlier Katie called this the valley of despair is because you're still making no money. At $40,000 a month, you're still not making any money, any profit.
But you know what you are gaining? Skills. Yeah. Sales skills, leadership skills.
Those are the most valuable resources. So some of you guys know this, some of you guys might not know this, but Kate and I have 2 kids. We have one that's a high schooler and then one that's 6. And so the high schoolers taught us a lot about parenting. Actually taught us a lot about coaching. Taught us a lot about life. She's honestly taught us a ton. And the 6-year-old gets the benefit from that. And so we were on a walk the other night and I was like, Lainey, do you know what the 3 main resources are that people can give? They can give their time, they can give their attention, and they can give their money, right? That's a way for you to be able to give something to somebody else in exchange for something. And so a lot of times people were like, well, I'll go work for someone for free. Okay, that's you giving your time and attention away. However, do you know to make your time and attention more valuable? Is you actually have some skills to come with it. If any of you guys come and try to ask me to work for free, I would not let you work for me. Shouldn't say that. Some of you guys. Depends on your skill set level. Right? So like at some level, like your skill sets become one of the most valuable things that you can ever offer somebody. And this is where I was reminded the other day of like, how do you get into rooms? How do you get around people who have the things that you want? Is you have to be able to give them resources that they're currently looking for. And so one resource that most people are looking for is money. And so, but that's also the resource that most people are the most concerned about giving. They're like, oh, I don't want to give my money away. And so one of the ways that I came up before I had money is I would give away my time and attention. But the only way I was able to do that is because I had a skill set that person wanted. And so my skill set didn't involve around business. Because I told you guys before, like I knew nothing about business. So how could I get around people who knew more things about business and I didn't have money to also give them? I had a skill set in something totally different, health and fitness, getting in shape, that I offered to give away for free in order to get a relationship with somebody that then they taught me about business, or they allowed me to be in their presence so I could learn from them and I could see how they responded and I could see how they acted. I could just get proximity. I'm like, oh, I'm learning. And so I think that is one of the things that is like, I realized looking back at like how to be resourceful, how to use your resources is to actually acquire resources that are useful, and skill sets are always useful. And so when Kay talks about like you're learning skills like sales, like we had an employee in Mesa, and in this location right here, she was the first ops person we hired. She was a cleaner. She had absolutely 0 skills. Like I'm telling you guys, 0 skills. Like she wasn't even a good cleaner, to be honest with you. And I was like, Katie, if we can turn this girl into somebody who like is a producer in the office, then like it'll show you how good our system really is. And lo and behold, she was with us for almost a year, and like she produced. You know, she could make 20, 30 sales a week. And like, I remember having to have one-on-ones with her. She was afraid to ask people for money. She's afraid to ask people for their credit cards. And by the end of it, ooh, she's like taking credit cards. She's making sales. And then unfortunately, her standard for reliability just wasn't up to our standards. And she couldn't stay in the team because she couldn't show up to work. But her skill set wise, like she was good. She just couldn't show up to work, and we needed somebody who could show up to work. And so she ended up going to another cleaning company, and our other office girl and her actually stayed friends. And it was cool now to be able to hear the perspective. I think it's been like 5 or 6 months since she's left us, but like she's now teaching this other business things that she learned from us. And like she's probably more valuable in their business than they are. And that makes me freaking so excited. Even though like she hates me, because she told us that she doesn't like me. She likes Katie, but like she doesn't like me, because you guys probably assume like I just set the standard. I'm okay. I'm okay with people not liking me, because you know what? She might not like me, but because of me, she's in a situation where she has the confidence and she's got the skill sets to be able to run a freaking business. She knows more about business than the business owners do. And you know what? If that takes me being hated, I'm okay with it, because it's actually in her best interest. And I will always do, like, I think that's like my goal is to always make it so like my relationship with people is always in their best interest, even if that sacrifices my best interest in the short term. Okay. Skills are so important, and there's no money. Katie, let's go to level number 4.
Level 4. Are you guys ready for an upswing?
Hey, we finally got a positive one. Are we almost there yet?
Well, money
Almost.
starts to come, but you're maxed out. $40,000 to $60,000 is really where you're actually starting to redline yourself as a producer in your business. So you are still the only person who is taking everybody's money and booking new clients. You're becoming a master, but your capacity is pretty much capped. It's grown. It's grown from all the way from 0 to be able to produce $60,000 a month. So that's like an infinite skill set acquisition, but now you're busy. You might have a little bit of money coming in at the end of every single month, but you're really busy. You are reinforcing your team. You're talking about standards. You're praising them. You're confronting them when needed, when standards aren't being met. You're still leading your team. So you still have your team meetings every single week that you talk about standards, values, wins, feedback, sales, your book and cleans. I don't know if you guys heard, but one of our office gals was producing 20 to 30 cleans a week. So just for like reference, this stage right here is like 20 to 40 sales a week have to be booked. So capacity grows. You're connecting with 20 to 40 people a week. That's multiple people a day. This is where you can start to potentially increase your prices because demand is there. You've proven to yourself you've earned the opportunity to actually charge more. Still managing the schedule. This is where you get to start getting efficient with your cleaners, and you get to start playing around with how many cleans they can actually fulfill and optimizing also their paychecks, because if you guys pay them on a revenue share, what they produce is actually directly correlated to what they get paid. So you can increase their pay by getting them more hours, optimizing their schedules as well, all while continuing to track data and being accountable to the data of your business.
What does the team look like at this point?
Office team is still you and your VA. Producing. And then at this time, you have about 8 to 10 cleaners that you are leading.
And how do you graduate to the next level?
This one is where you transfer your ability to produce and everything else you do in the office to an assistant.
Yes. Awesome. And so this is where most people make this hire way too soon. It's because they want to avoid the learning. They want to avoid the doing. They want to avoid the growth, like the growth of the capacity of what it takes to actually get the business to $60,000 a month. But if you are willing to pay the price here, the next season, you might be able to get through this season much faster, because if you understand how to do something, it makes it easier for you to be able to teach it, this is how you graduate to level 5, which is what's the revenue mark for level 5, Katie?
If you don't do it first either, you don't have a standard for the person who's going to sit in your seat. You're like, I don't even know what good looks like. So it's important that you go first before you replace yourself, so you know what good looks like, so you can hold the standard for the person that's going to come sit next to you and also produce. So level 5 is $60,000 to $80,000 a month. Now you're running a business. Congratulations. I don't know what you've been doing up to this point, but now you have a business in your hands. You've built a consistent way of doing things, and now you're teaching your team to follow the same process.
I think the biggest difference in this season, in this phase, this level, is you're still doing everything you were doing in level 4. Now you're also just teaching somebody else how to do what you're doing, which is really you're doing more. But how you know that you're doing a good job? How do you know you're doing a good job, Katie?
The other person can produce.
Yeah. So the business actually just grows to the next level. Like this level is going to be the simplest, but it's also going to be the most challenging. It's
So
very
this
simple.
means that you yourself have to book 20 to 40 initial cleans, new money every single week, while teaching another person to book a few cleans a week. And then ultimately more week after week after week.
And so how do you graduate to the next level on this one? I just said it, but I'll say it again. How do you get to level 6?
How do you get to level 6? You ensure that the person that you have taught can also produce.
And what's the evidence that they can produce?
Your business grows.
To what?
$80,000 to $100,000 a month.
Exactly. So level 6, guys, is $80,000 to $100,000 a month. This is proof. Until you've got there, you haven't shown that you can not only do the do, but also teach somebody how to also do the do. And so that's why the $1 million revenue mark, that's why like it's somewhat arbitrary, but also it falls in a line with skill sets and also money. Are we actually making money at level 5 and level 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually money to be had. Like at level 5, you're actually making some money. Level 6, you're making some real money. Like the benefit, guys, that I have that some of you guys might not have is that like I get to see the books of businesses that are hitting these revenue marks. And not just my businesses, but some of the people who I coach. Actually, all the people I coach, they are very fortunate. I guess I just asked, they haven't told me no, but like, let me see your books. I'm like, let me see the books. Let's go through them. And so I get to see these numbers, and I'm telling you what, there's money to be had in level 5 and level 6. Like there's actual profit in money, and there's also profit in time. And if we go back to our pen example, freedom and control. If you want freedom, we got to go control. Okay. But along with freedom also comes not just money, but also time. The freedom for you to choose what you do with your time and what you do with your money. Okay. And so what does your business look like, Katie, at level 6? Who was on the team at level 6?
Yeah. So you are still on the team. You're empowering your team now, rather than doing all of the sales calls. You're helping them produce to continue to scale your business.
You're the coach.
You're the
Like,
coach.
You become the coach. You become the coach to your team. Like you're the coach for your office staff. You're the ones who are coaching them through this cleaner one didn't show up today. I can't believe this. And you're like, start to believe it. Like all the limiting beliefs you had to get through, you now get to coach somebody else on how to get through those, which is the reason why Kate said before, is like, you must go first. Because guess what? If you haven't solved the problem and you try to expect somebody else to solve the problem, they have the problem, they're going to look for you, their leader, for support. And you're like, yeah, I decided to skip that problem. I didn't decide to solve it either. It's now we both have this problem. Now we're both frustrated. And I just think it's your problem now. So you figure it out. And you wonder why your business doesn't grow without you. Because you didn't know how to grow the business in the first place. Okay, so you were still part of the business. Who else is part of this business, Katie?
At this point, you have 2 office staff handling all of the operations, still a full-time virtual assistant, and now you're managing 10 to 14 cleaners.
And so understanding that now you have 2 office assistants and 1 virtual assistant, okay? And so at this point, this is where you have 2 office people. They're the ones who are going to handle the clients and the cleaners. And at this point, your job just becomes to coach them and to lead them and to be their support system, but also be the one who holds them accountable to do the inputs required in order for the business to continue to grow. And so this is where your skill set of learning how to be the coach versus being the doer, like you're going to spend a lot of time in this $80,000 to $100,000 range, and this is why most people will get stuck here. But if you figure this stage out, then there is more than $100,000 a month, right? You can get to $200,000 a month. It just becomes like, how do you duplicate the system in the process? How do you duplicate everything that you're doing?
Yeah, the key at the 0 to 10 plus in empowering cleaners is allowing them to make mistakes. This is very similar to your office. Like you need to allow them to actually make mistakes so they can learn and grow, just like you had to learn and grow. Now you can help fast track their growth because you have a better solution for the next time. But you don't save people in this stage. I think this is how you actually get the time freedom, is you allow them to make mistakes and you coach them through it rather than jumping in and saving the day over and over and over again.
That's one of the skill sets in coaching, is letting mistakes happen, not saving people, being okay with the outcome that somebody else or the decision that somebody else made, and then afterwards talking about it and addressing it and coming up with a plan to solve future problems. But in order to solve future problems, we must actually let the existing problem happen. That is a different skill set. The perfectionist doesn't like that. The person who has all the answers doesn't want to get a red mark. They don't want to get a bad review. They don't want to lose a client. They don't want to lose money. They don't want to lose.
The people who've been solo cleaners for a long time and try to scale a business, they usually get stuck in that perfectionist when they have cleaners join the team. The business people, the sales people get stuck at this level because they are the experts at sales and they don't think anybody can do it as good as you. Same with the solo cleaners. It's just at what level do you get stuck and at what level can you continue to coach your staff?
So speaking of coaching staff, Kate and I have to go coach our staff. We have our vision meeting where we coach our staff. We've done this now for 84 straight weeks. And so consistency and persistence is all part of this game. So as much as like this stuff is on here, it always comes back to the framework of consistency, persistence, and just doing what's required even when you don't feel like doing it. And so hopefully you guys got some value from today's call. Hopefully it created some clarity for you guys. You guys understood like what state or what level you guys are at and what it takes to get to the next level. Somebody asked about notes. So if you guys are inside the paid coaching community, this replay and all of our notes will actually be uploaded into the Road to a Million replay. So you guys can go access our notes. So everything that we talked about today, you guys have access to our notes and the replay. And then if you guys are inside the free school group, the free home cleaning courses community, it'll also be uploaded inside there as well under Road to a Million replays. So the notes and everything. So you guys can go access that. And if you're not in the paid community and you're interested in the 20-day challenge, you can apply and see if there's any spots left. And even if there's not any spots left for this month, we'll put you on a waiting list. And if we do it again, then we'll let you know when there are spots open. So I appreciate you guys so much for hopping on here today. Thank you guys for caring about your businesses and wanting to grow. And I understand that it's not easy and it feels different. And if we just understand that difference is actually what we want more of, if we want the outcome of a different looking business, we want more revenue, we want more income, we want more skills, we can help a lot more people. And if we just understand that, like, that's what this game is about, learn skills, teach skills, we become able to help a lot more people. The sacrifice is worth it. So appreciate you guys. Happy freaking Monday. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Or if you guys are inside the paid coaching community, get on the call on Wednesday. I'm actually gonna be on that call on Wednesday, and I got some cool updates for you guys as well. Some new things that are being released inside the classroom. So appreciate you guys. Happy freaking Monday. See you guys later.
Bye.